The internet is one big place where shocking stories emerge almost on a daily basis, but very few among them stand out as outright disturbing and deranged. Meet Brent Johnson, a 27-year-old chronically online man TikToker, from allegedly doing shady things on his own sister.
I was looking at my sister's profile on Facebook, and then it was a previous profile, and then I said, "You look beautiful as mom," and I just want to say I love you so much. And then she deleted the comment, and she blocked me on both Facebook and Instagram.
To literally getting caught for sending inappropriate messages to a minor.
Wait, so you texted a minor?
It was an accident. No.
You know if he was a minor, right?
I do not know.
Brent's rabbit hole is actually a very deep one. Brent's entire online career revolves around his obsession with the Disney movie Cars, and his love for the character the Lightning McQueen, and this has definitely caused his audience to be filled with more minor. This, however, makes him even more dangerous, as his behavior is not merely inappropriate, but rather that of someone who is pretty much defined as a predator. He has been caught multiple times talking inappropriately with a minor even after they told him their age. And instead of taking accountability, Brent would get mad at the person who brought it up on his live stream, saying that celebrities like Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber might see it and end up hating him, which is insane and delusional on top of his already disgusting predatory behavior.
And now people's gonna hate me too. What if celebrities hates me? What if like Ariana Grande or Justin Bieber or every celebrity hates me? We bring that up for other people up.
And not just that, Brent has also displayed behaviors involving the exploitations of a person's mental health problems for grooming, as he was caught at one point upon a 16-year-old whom he initially decided to walk away from, only to immediately return after she told him she has autism. While all of this is already bad and very disturbing, it is only the tip of the Brent iceberg, as there are far more disturbing events we are going to unravel. Brent's shocking story actually started before he was even born, as his father, who was very abusive, would abuse Brent's mother while she was pregnant with Brent. This eventually led her parents to take her away, and from that day on, Brent's father completely removed himself from Brent's life. And his mother's side is no different either, as his uncle is a convicted against a minor and was sentenced to prison in 2005, which is definitely not a good beginning for our man of the hour. While having no father figure as a kid is a bad beginning by itself, Brent had additional problems that made his life even more miserable. Brent is diagnosed with autism, and has also struggled with anger issues, which would later affect his actions as we go further down these rabbit holes. Although having all of these unfortunate conditions can sometimes be enough to explain certain behaviors, there are still boundaries, and Brent crossed them not just once, but multiple times. Soon enough, he would be placed into foster care. While the exact reason remains unclear, it could have been due to his mother's inability to financially provide for him, or, as many people allege, because of something shady he did involving one of his sisters, which would actually become a massive controversy later in his TikTok career. Despite his foster parents adopting him and being generous toward him, Brent showed little gratitude. He would get into physical altercations and, in his own words, admitted to abusing his foster parents, who were elderly. And this marks the first of many terrible actions that are about to unfold.
Okay, now hear me. So, you said that you were abusing your parents? In that context.
My foster parents. But that's
your foster parents, yes.
That's when I was a teenager back then.
Yes. However, this still matters because ICE will use any excuse of one's criminal record, no matter how minor, no matter how young, in order to deport people.
Besides his anger problems, Brent seemed somewhat popular in high school, or at least he was desperate to be popular. He had a dream of becoming a popular singer, just like Justin Bieber, to quote him, but unfortunately he had no talent, nor did he put in the work to get any closer to that dream. Instead, he saw himself as a rock star, performing at various high school events, when in reality he was nothing more than a laughingstock. After graduating from high school in 2017, Brent was placed into a group home in Arizona once he became a legal adult, where he still lives to this day. However, becoming an adult did nothing to improve his behavior. If anything, his anger issues only escalated over time. Much like his earlier experiences in foster care, Brent was chaotic and volatile in the group home environment. He became involved in physical violence, even punching one of his roommates in the face, which led to an official incident report being filed against him.
What happened of what?
Was the IR report.
I was like punching him like twice.
Okay, so it was a little scuffle, yes?
Yes, sir.
Was there any bruising? Was there any bleeding?
I don't know. There was no bruising. It's just that he said, ow. And then he gave me the one who takes care of me gave me a warning. He gave me a warning, and that's why I say I'm going to have to written IR for that, Brent.
But everything would take a much darker turn for Brent in late 2020, when he created his very first TikTok account, an action that would permanently alter the trajectory of his life. Despite already being 21 years old at the time, Brent continued to behave more like a child, frequently carrying around toys and, more importantly, obsessing over the Disney movie cars. He built his entire online presence around this fixation, with a particular focus on the character Tow Mutter. While having an obsession like this is not unheard of, what made Brent's situation stand out was how completely it consumed his identity. He built his entire persona around it, to the point where it seemed he had no life outside of his fixation on Tow Mutter. Even with all of this, Brent's TikTok account remained relatively small, pulling in only a few hundred views and little to no engagement on most of his videos. That would all change on May 5th, 2024, when his Ariana Grande cover of One Last Time unexpectedly went viral on TikTok.
One last time, I need to be the one who takes you home. One last time, I promise after that.
Following this viral moment, Brent finally met the requirements to go live on TikTok, and it was during these live streams that Brent's online career, and ultimately his entire life, would change forever. He began revealing more and more about his personal life on stream, with his most common and now infamous activity being singing songs live for his audience.
I got the swag in me. I got the swag in me. That's what you wanted to see.
And also lifting weights and flexing his Greek god physique. And after gaining traction on the app, Brent would do something that became his very first controversy. Brent has always wanted to go to Disneyland, but since he had been unemployed for many years, he was unable to afford the trip financially. However, once he became relatively famous on TikTok in March of 2025, he opened a GoFundMe aimed at raising money for a Disneyland trip. This quickly became his first major controversy, creating significant backlash among his viewers. From the start, GoFundMe is designed for emergencies, medical bills, or disaster relief, as opposed to funding a luxury Disneyland trip, which already made Brent's actions highly questionable. What made the situation even worse is that Brent already had a decent following on TikTok and was making large amounts of money through live stream donations, far exceeding what he was asking for through his GoFundMe. In addition to this, he also receives money from the Colorado River Indian Tribe Fund because he is a Native American. On top of all of that, Brent had already been to Disneyland before, meaning this was not his first visit, despite him attempting to present it that way. And not knowing all of this, people would go on to donate to his GoFundMe, allowing Brent to raise a whopping $1,700. But even after raising this much money in the name of a dream trip to the happiest place in the world, as he puts it, Brent decided to cancel the trip for unspecified reasons, barely mentioning it afterward. Following this, Brent was seen purchasing more and more toys and other items, making it very clear that he was using the GoFundMe money to buy all of this instead. And when people brought up the GoFundMe, he would get angry and attempt to victimize himself, even though he had just scammed people in broad daylight.
Fundraiser, whereas on your end, you're doing it just so that way you could go to Disneyland. That's not an emergency. That's not a desperate call for help. You're using it for you to go and fulfill a dream that you could have easily accomplished by yourself with your Indian tribe money as well as your TikTok funds.
Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to my Disneyland trip then.
Yeah, I don't think you should. Not with that money.
But this was not the end of Brent's controversy. If anything, it was only the beginning. As he started streaming more and more, one thing became very consistent, and that was Brent's emotional immaturity. He not only failed to process even the smallest amount of criticism in a healthy way, but would also cry over nearly everything, and go as far as repeatedly blocking people from his chat for making some of the most normal comments. He blocked me because I said "Rest in peace, Lightning McQueen." Bro blocked me because I said I am McQueen. And not just that, but at times Brent would also throw tantrums over very minor inconveniences. On one occasion, while talking to a random girl on a live stream, one of his moderators also spoke to her. Brent became so upset by this that he decided to stop talking altogether during the live stream. And this naturally attracted trolls who became more interested in him, leading to a new era where people began creating their own TikTok accounts to repost Brent's worst moments from his live streams, something he did not appreciate at all.
I keep getting hate, criticism, making fun of, and especially what annoys me the most is making edits to me, and to me that is not okay.
But none of this deterred the trolls from taking an interest in Brent. If anything, it only made them more invested, pushing them to dig deeper into his private life. This scrutiny led to the discovery of one of the most intriguing aspects of Brent's story, his interactions, or rather the lack of them, with his own family. Despite documenting nearly every aspect of his life on TikTok, there was little to no evidence of Brent engaging with his family at all. And one particular person in his family that Brent had a very odd interaction with was his older sister, Jolene Johnson. On the night after Thanksgiving in 2023, Brent came across a post Jolene made on her Facebook account, which he replied to by saying, and I quote, "You look beautiful as mom." An important note here is that their mother passed away from cancer back in 2018. While Brent claimed he meant this purely out of brotherly love, Jolene did not appreciate the comment and deleted it right away, implying that some kind of existing issue already existed between the two.
Back in November of 2023, it was the day after Thanksgiving. I was looking at my sister's profile on Facebook, and then it was a previous profile. And then I said, "You look beautiful as mom," and I just want to say I love you so much. And then she deleted the comment, and I tried to video call her, but she hung up. But I also told her saying like, "Hey sister, if you're mad at me, if you are, just want to say I'm sorry. Can you forgive me?" And she blocked me on both Facebook and Instagram.
And while it is hard to deduce what really happened from this alone, or why Brent's sister chose to delete the comment, it was necessary for Brent to respect his sister's boundaries. However, Brent did not do that. If anything, he doubled down and began texting her nonstop. Jolene eventually became exhausted by this and decided to block Brent from all of her social media accounts. But in classic Brent fashion, he doubled down once again and effectively stalked his own sister by creating fake accounts to follow her on social media. After hearing this story, many of his followers became extremely intrigued and wanted to know more details, which led to repeated questions about it in his livestream chats. Bizarrely enough, Brent not only refused to talk about it, but would also break down emotionally every time someone brought up his sister.
You like Jolene's song? I'm not gonna be answering that.
You think he's not gonna answer that?
It's making me uncomfortable. I think I gotta go.
Despite his viewers' intrigue, Brent's refusal to go into detail made it more difficult to put all the pieces together. Interestingly enough, both his older sister Jolene and his younger sister would later appear online answering a few questions. Jolene commented under one TikTok saying this, "How the freak am I even a topic? This was years ago. I blocked him because he always would blow up my phone by calling and texting me nonstop and would talk about me in public, so yes, I put up a wall." While his sister coming online and making these statements did confirm some of Brent's inappropriate behaviors, the overall details of the story still remained unclear. However, this entire fiasco would take a turn for the worse when people began assuming that the reason Brent was initially sent to foster care and later to a group home was because he assaulted his sister. While there is no solid evidence to support this claim, the fact that Brent was sent to juvenile detention when he was a teenager made the situation appear even more suspicious and led many people to believe this theory. Although the SA allegations are not backed by solid evidence, it is very clear that Brent has some dirty secrets he does not want the internet to know. To this day, he continues to stalk his sister against her wishes, and she is not the only woman Brent has obsessively stalked either. Brent had a high school crush named Lydia, whom he has been obsessed with for nearly 10 years. However, these feelings were never mutual. Lydia was not only uninterested, but she completely cut ties with Brent while they were still in high school. Despite this, Brent continued trying to get in contact with her after they graduated in 2018, repeatedly texting her. By 2023, Lydia had enough and decided to block Brent on all of her social media accounts. That still did not stop Brent. He created a new Facebook account to stalk Lydia and messaged her saying, "Lydia, it's me, Brent. I was wondering if we can be friends again if you're okay with it." By October 2023, Brent confirmed that he had been blocked once again.
She blocked me back in 2018, and 2023, and last year.
Well,
Because one, I keep calling her, texting her so many times, and then next thing you know, I got blocked. That was back in 2018, and then back in 2023, I was messaging her on my new account saying, "Hey, it's me, Brent again. I was wondering if we become friends, and that's okay." And then I waited a couple months later, and then she ghosted me. And then back in March, I was following her on my new account again and adding her on friends request, but she blocked me on there too.
Even then, he did not give up and tried again in 2025. This time, however, he managed to get a response. But unfortunately for him, it was not Lydia. It was a fake account impersonating her. Due to Brent's growing infamy on TikTok and the presence of dedicated trolls, the story of Lydia became a major topic of discussion online. A group of trolls decided to create a fake Lydia account and contact Brent in order to learn more about his obsession, and ultimately expose him. It is also important to note that Lydia is already married, and Brent was fully aware of this. Despite that, he was extremely excited to talk to Lydia, and fell for the trap very easily. As the conversation continued, it became crystal clear that Brent was still romantically interested in Lydia. He not only flirted with her, but also took things further by calling her pet names and nicknames inspired by the Cars movie, yet another indication of how much his life revolves around that obsession. It is also notable from their text messages that Brent consistently played the victim. He frequently talked about his own problems and fished for sympathy, while showing little to no interest in the other person's life or struggles. Brent failed to realize that this was a sting operation, and continued interacting with the account. He even went as far as blocking his own friends and TikTok moderators at the request of the Lydia impersonator. Eventually, Brent discovered that his lifelong crush was actually a man behind a fake account, and he ended the interaction. Ironically, this was not the end of Brent's stalking behavior, as he would soon be caught in yet another controversy, involving a woman named Jasmine Garcia. Brent is extremely desperate when it comes to women, as no woman would realistically want to date someone like Brent, a man-child who cries on the internet and lacks any admirable traits. Because of this, he becomes obsessed with random women he encounters online, and one of those women was Jasmine. Jasmine is a YouTube content creator whom Brent claims to have followed since 2022. Brent came across her on TikTok and asked her to battle him. Jasmine, who did not know Brent personally, declined the request. This is where Brent completely lost it. In his mind, leaving a comment on someone's video and receiving a heart in return was equivalent to being in a relationship. So when Jasmine declined his request, he viewed it as a betrayal and reacted accordingly.
We can't be friends anymore.
I am Jasmine Garcia. That's fine, you know. No, she was on live stream, and I invited her to the live. She declined me twice. So Jasmine doesn't want to battle with me, and that's fine. She declined me twice or third time already. Sad and heartbroken.
It is mind-boggling to think that someone who cries over something as ridiculous as this exists, not to mention that he is pushing 30. And after this, Jasmine became aware of Brent's reaction, and his buddy trolls would flood her live streams, guilt tripping her into going live with Brent.
Guys, I do remember Brent Johnson. I do. From my YouTube videos, he would comment on them. If I had another phone right now, I would go check on him, guys. Here, guys, I'm gonna wait for my sister to come back. He doesn't know how, and he's crying. No way, Fatih. Literally, screenshot him or send him to me or screen record him to me. Fatih, screen record him to me, bro. Because I just don't believe this is true. I feel like there's a lot of trolls on TikTok, guys. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on, guys. Stop, guys. Guys, just please go spam his chat that I love him, that I literally said I love him, and thank you so much for everything, and I don't know how to go live with him. If I did, I would do it. And that I do remember who he is, and that he is a blessing to this world. And yes, just tell him that. But anyways, guys, I'll try to follow him once I'm done on live.
And eventually Jasmine would agree to go live with Brent that night, and they did. But the problem was that Brent was the only one talking while she just sat there, likely thinking about leaving the stream. And the funniest part of it all is that he was trying to gain sympathy from her by framing himself as the victim, even bringing up the death of his mother despite it being more than 7 years ago, and dropping the legendary line that he lost his mother just 7 years ago.
People like to come up with the name so they can make fun of me.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, so they could just clip everything I say and then screen record everything. And yeah, it's just that I've gone through so much in my life. I don't want to give more detail because I'm a very emotional person. I just lost my mom like 7 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
After the livestream ended, Brent became overly excited, believing that Jasmine was romantically interested in him when nothing could be further from the truth.
Girl, I want to spend my life with you, and girl, I'm gonna be here for you. Cause mi amor, mi amor, mi amor, I want you to be my wife. Mi amor, mi amor, mi amor, cause I need you in my life.
Wow, that's really good, Brent. You made that?
Yeah, I just wrote it.
This clearly shows how deluded Brent's mindset is, because it was obvious from the start that Jasmine only joined the livestream due to people guilt-tripping her after she declined his request. And even if she had joined out of her own interest, that still would not mean she liked him, or that there was any romantic future between them. Although it took some time, Brent would eventually realize that Jasmine was not interested in him. Instead of accepting it and moving on, he chose to blame his trolls for telling Jasmine about his past, and then followed up by threatening to leave TikTok, something he constantly says but never actually does.
I don't know. I'm not gonna even talk about it. Look what that guy put. I should make a video about saying goodbye to you guys.
But if you think all of this is bad enough, you're in for a surprise, because Brent's behavior would become far more disturbing than anything we have covered so far. Brent repeatedly presents himself in his videos as an innocent, sweet guy with autism, who is harmless despite his few obsessions, but nothing could be further from the truth. Around early 2025, a screenshot of Brent's text messages with a 15-year-old was posted on TikTok. In those messages, Brent was caught saying highly inappropriate things, while fully knowing the age of the person he was talking to. Although this was disturbing, some of his viewers defended him, claiming there was no proof that the messages were actually from Brent, which would be a fair argument until he himself confirmed it. However, in the most ridiculous way possible, instead of admitting fault or taking accountability for his disgusting behavior, Brent completely changed the subject. He claimed that the account was not even a real woman, but an impersonator, as if that somehow excused his actions of intentionally speaking inappropriately to someone he believed to be a minor. Not to mention, this is exactly how predator catchers typically catch predators in the first place.
I thought it was just a female, but it was a male behind the account. But you know what? If people think I'm a bad person, which I'm not, it's just I don't know why you read the comments out loud.
What made this even more ridiculous is that when the other person on the stream asked him about these allegations, Brent did not focus on the seriousness of the situation at all. Instead, he got visibly upset over the idea that celebrities might see this and end up hating him, showing how much deluded he really is on top of his disturbing behavior.
You really hurt me the way you read it out loud, and it just makes me uncomfortable and ask me too many questions. It just really hurts me.
I'm so sorry. I really don't mean to hurt you. I just don't know.
It really did. And now people's gonna hate me too. What if celebrities hates me? What if Ariana Grande or Justin Bieber or every celebrity hates me? We bring that up for other people up. It really hurts.
Although Brent admitted to texting a 15-year-old during this livestream, he would later deny it and tell a completely different story, while talking to someone in his DMs saying this. People have been saying that I was messaging a minor, which is not true. One person took a screenshot of my profile and tried to impersonate me by saying something inappropriate, which I would never text. I also didn't know what the word minor meant at the time, but I understand it now. The most baffling part about all of this is that Brent knows exactly what he is doing. He simply tries to excuse his behavior by acting clueless and playing the victim on TikTok so that people will not press him too harshly. But Brent's behavior does not get any better. The trolls would later organize a sting operation by impersonating a 16-year-old girl named Marlena. At first, Brent did not realize this person's age, so he was talking desperately, even asking if he could date her, despite it being the very first date they were texting and him barely knowing anything about her. Soon after, Marlena told Brent her age, and Brent initially pulled away. However, the most baffling part is that once Marlena told Brent that she has autism, he immediately showed interest again, asking her when she would turn 18. This moment cuts through Brent's innocent victim narrative entirely. His immediate return after learning Marlena was autistic indicates he perceived her vulnerability as an opportunity for manipulation. And if this was not already bad enough, Brent would be caught again, this time asking another minor to be his girlfriend while fully knowing her age, and asking her to keep it a secret. At this point, it hardly needs any argument to show that Brent is a dangerous and disgusting predator. Yet he continues sympathy farming by going live every day and crying so people will feel bad for him. Every once in a while, another terrible thing he has done gets revealed, and when that happens, I will make sure to keep you guys updated. Until then, let me know what about Brent you find most baffling in the comments.